Well, the Atlantic hurricane season officially begins June 1st, so now we're within 2 months of the start of the season, and some preseason forecasts beginning to come out, which is typical this time of the year. And also typical this time of the year, there's nothing to track in April here, so there's no active storms, no development over the next week, and sometimes we can get a preseason storm, but at least for the near term, things are quiet across the Atlantic. In a typical hurricane season, we see 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. And one of the preseason forecasts from Colorado State University recently came out showing what could be a slightly below average season. Not well below average. You can see just one short of these other numbers here. So 13 named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. Take it with a grain of salt, though, because we always say it only takes one storm to make it a bad season. And we'll show you an example of that coming up in just a minute. Some of the factors behind this forecast are a developing El Nino, which I'll detail what that is, and also Atlantic sea surface temperatures not as warm as they could be. El Nino starts in the equatorial Pacific. We talk about sea surface temperatures here. Typically, we see the trade winds blow from east to west, but in some years, the winds relax a little bit, allowing warmer water temperatures to move over the eastern Pacific. And what this has a tendency to do is enhance wind shear across the Atlantic. So typically, in an El Nino year, we see more wind shear across the Atlantic, which generally leads to less hurricane activity. 1965 was a good example, though, of an El Nino year that still was very impactful. This was the path of Hurricane Betsy, which was a major hurricane hitting South Florida and Louisiana. So again, even if we have a strong El Nino later this year, even if it is a generally quiet season, it still only takes one storm. And Hurricane Andrew in 1992 is another good example of a major storm in an otherwise quiet year. Here are the names this year for the 2026 hurricane season, starting with Arthur, ending with Wilfred. The names repeat every 7th year, so you may recognize some of these, like Isaias, which was in 2020. Hopefully we don't get that far down the list, but the Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Team will be here around the clock each day this hurricane season, keeping you informed.